today's lesson, you will learn what a currency is and how to convert between different currencies. You've been successful today if you can convert from one currency to another given the exchange rate. Okay, so let's start with what a currency is. A currency is a system of money in general use in a particular country. In the UK, our currency is pound sterling. So let's have a look at some different currencies from around the world. The first one, and probably the one that most of you will know, is the euro. This is used in a lot of European countries, for example, Spain, Germany, France, Finland, and so on. The US dollar is used in the United States, Ecuador, Panama, and a few more countries. The Indian rupee is used in India and Bhutan. The Chinese yuan is used in China, and the Japanese yen is used in Japan, and there are loads more currencies. This is just a select few. So, why are different currencies worth different amounts? A Kit Kat may cost you around £1 in the UK, however in Japan it will cost roughly 300 Japanese yen. Does that mean that it is equivalent to paying £300? Well, no, because £1 is equal to 136 Japanese yen. So why do different countries have different values of currencies? One thing that affects the value of your currency is supply and demand. If more people are trying to buy a certain currency, the price of it will go up. And if less people are trying to buy it, the price will go down. The second thing is the price of certain goods in that country, for example oil. And we can see in this graph here that the value of the Canadian dollar has a very similar trend to the oil price in Canada. Another thing is hyperinflation. When prices of goods in a country drastically increase over a short period of time, this can also weaken the value of their currency, but there's loads more things that are taken into account when valuing a currency. So how do we change to a foreign currency? Changing from the pound to a foreign currency, we multiply by the exchange rate that we are given for that particular currency. So let's look at how this works in example 1. So we have a table up the top right hand corner of some different exchange rates in July 2012. Exchange rates change all the time, so if you're doing an exercise or working from a textbook, you use the exchange rate that they give you in that particular exercise. Let's begin by changing £350 into euros. So, in my working, I want to show what I'm multiplying by. We are trying to change to euros, so we want to take the euro exchange rate of 1.24 and put that in a calculator. And that gives me 434 euros. In part B, we are changing from pounds to American dollars. So this time we are using the 1.55 exchange rate, which will give me $542.50. And lastly, we're changing to Indian rupee. So I take £350 and times it by the exchange rate for Indian rupee, which is 85.56, and that gives me 29,946 Indian rupee. Okay, in example 2, we're being asked to change £1,260 into a few different currencies. So the first one is Chinese yen. The exchange rate for that is 9.83, which gives me 12,385.80 Chinese yen. For part B, it's the Mexican peso. So I take £1,260 and multiply it by 21.70, and that gives me 27,342. And for the Mexican peso, the symbol is the same as the dollar. For C, it's South African rand we're changing to. So I take my £1,260 and I multiply by 13.03. which gives me 16,417.80 South African rand. Okay, so how do we change back from a foreign currency? So if we are given the amount in the foreign currency, to change back, we divide by the exchange rate that we are given. Okay, so it's the opposite of changing to a foreign currency. Change the following back to pounds. So let's begin with €285. So we are dividing by the exchange rate for euros, which is 1.24. Now, when you put this in your calculator, you will get out a number that has more than 2 decimal places, but because we're dealing with money, we can only go up to pennies, so we must always round money to 2 decimal places if it needs rounded. For part B, I've got 18,940 rupees. So I divide by the exchange rate for the Indian rupee, which is 85.56. And I get £221.37. Again, that's rounded to 2 decimal places. For part C, I've got 5,390 South African Rand. So I divide by 13.03. And this gives me an answer of £413.66. Example 4. Jamie went on a trip to Portugal. He changed £530 into euros. He spent €490 during his trip. When he came home, he exchanged the money he had left back to pounds. How much did Jamie have in pounds when he got home? Okay, so let's start at the beginning then. So he changed £530 into euros. So let's do that first. We're changing out of pounds into a foreign currency. So we're multiplying by the exchange rate for the euro, which is 1.24. And that gives me €657.20. When he came home, he exchanged the money he had left back to pounds. So during his trip, he spent £490. So I'm going to subtract that away from what he took with him. So he took €657.20. And if I take away the 490, that means he still had €167.20 left over. So he changed that back into pounds. So if we're changing back into pounds, we are dividing by the exchange rate of 1.24. And that means he had £134.54 left in pounds. Example 5, convert $632 into Norwegian krone. So our table shows every exchange rate based on the British pound. So the only thing we can do here is change back our dollars into pounds first, then change from pounds out to Norwegian krone. So let's start by changing this back into pounds. So if we're changing back to pounds, we're dividing by the exchange rate, which is 1.55. which gives me £407.74 rounded to 2 decimal places. Now we want to change to Norwegian krone, so we take what we just found in pounds and multiply it by the Norwegian krone exchange rate of £9.40. And that gives me £3,832.77 Norwegian krone.